the ending of the story. If you could finish the game on the PS3, if you liked it or what. In that sense, I still remember that you were playing it on a PS3 instead than the PC version. In the end, the PC version I could fix it. The problem was that I was using two mods at the same time, and one of the mods overload the other one, the memory leak in the end. Nope, it's too big. It's way too big. I told you, people, it's way too big. And now with the remaster, I can play with gamepad. Yeah, you wanted to play it with the gamepad. The problem, in the end, I found the reason behind the memory leaks. The enhanced edition mod, while it was quite good, because it scaled the level of 4 mobs to your current level, your current character level, it caused the memory leak. You would need to get the Good Old Games version plus the community patch, but not the enhanced edition. That was my mistake. I was playing kind of like a modded version of it that was brutal. They're remastering it. They're remastering that beast. My lord. Oof. Now that explains some things. That explains why I hope more people will discover it. Maybe Sacred 1 Remaster will come after that. No. For those of you who don't know, people, those are games that Sacred 2 I awarded it a 10 out of 10. One out of the 3 10 out of 10s I've awarded in 4 years of analysis. It was that game, and if I had to say, it was the best game that I've analyzed in 4 years. Sacred 2. Just so you have an idea, it's like an isometric action RPG like these ones, but it uses MMORPG mechanics. But the world map is so massive. It was so massive. It was also a German production like Drakensang. It was in fact the brother production of Drakensang. In a lot of cases, it's quite similar. Pekaren. I will, in that sense, if you like Baldur's Gate clones, I will recommend you Drakensang 1 as well, that I played afterwards. I precisely played Drakensang after Sacred because both of them were German productions that developed in the same period of time, being like a bit of a rivals that basically took Chimera. Oh, careful. Did that one? Let me destroy that. Did that one respawn the traps here? No. All right. Shit. There we go. We have to avoid that one. Ah, there's a stand there. There we go. Perfect dodge. That stun is quite hard. Deals a lot of damage. There we go. Nice. So yeah, you hope more people will discover it. Maybe Secret 1 Remaster. No, when I streamed it, it's what I said. That the game was a tragedy. Just like a lot of the offline games that I showcase, I notice it immediately. That they are amazing, they have a lot of content and etc. And because of them not being remastered or not being kind of like the new shiny thing, they are completely ignored by the communities, and that's why I started the analysis of that game saying that it was a tragedy. It was literally my first phrase in that sense. Unlike that, many more that I precisely showcase in these long 4 years because of that precisely. It's a tragedy. It's what I call the theory of the black hole. That when a single game of a genre gets famous enough, it eliminates the competition and destroys a lot of amazing ideas that sadly deserve much more praise back in the day. That's the thing. It's absolutely terrible. It's absolutely terrible in that sense. It's absolutely terrible. Uh, uh, and you notice it immediately. And you notice it immediately. And you notice it immediately. That games that have the same gameplay mechanics, pretty much, they just die in shadows, completely unknown, just because of that. Just because of, I don't know, not being online or not, or being a bit old. And it's absolutely, and it's an absolute tragedy. It's an absolute tragedy, and even more so with Sacred 2, as I've said, because of how massive the you could see it. You couldn't even finish it in that sense. It's too big, and now you're waiting for a remaster to. You wanted to play with the gamepad. It's true. That was the the main thing. I remember that it was like that, and it had unfinished zones, huh? It had unfinished zones in that sense. Sacred 2, people. It had unfinished zones that basically were meant to have bosses and those and many more side quests. So imagine I did it with all of the side quests. So imagine it was like at the end of it was 700 side quests we did, right? Pekarin, it was 700 side quests with you, with Scarlet Dragoon, with my let's say my the first wave of viewers of my channel with that one. In that sense, it was 700 side quests at the end of the day. Yeah, pretty much 700. And well, regardless of the rest, Pekarin, if you want an update on the channel for the rest, as for the rest, basically that was the story. And well, some days ago only, I finally made it to the 50 followers mark, as I put on the, it's my comfort game. Where is it? Here. It's my comfort game, and it's always a pleasure to get back into it. So I'll finish it eventually. I hope, Lul. No, I remember you also loved a Pokemon. I remember. You also loved Pokemon, and you asked me about the mods, about the modded consoles. That you had all of the modded consoles, like with the 3DS. I remember. Well, that sense, I feel proud of myself, people. You, and also Crowbar. Always a huge salutation, a huge hug to Crowbar from the UK. That he's always he's always there over at Discord, and he watches the streams from the shadow. He was also from Sacred 2. I feel quite proud because both Pekarin and Crowbar tried out Sacred 2 precisely, or were encouraged to play it even more because of the streams and the crazy stuff I did back then. And well, in the case of Scarlet Dragoon, he loved it. It was one of his favorite games in that sense. So yeah, pretty much. So you go back to it like an MMORPG, like I do with Star Wars: Your Republic, just to farm because of how endless it is. Interesting theory. Interesting theory, like a comfort food game. In that sense, what's your comfort food game, people? If you're watching this as a YouTube poll in the future, anyone? In that sense, I would say it's a Star Wars: Your Republic for me, without a doubt. Every few years, well, every few years. It took me 10 years to return, but that one. As for other ones, I would just pick a platformer, a Nintendo platformer, like I don't know. The Game Boy Marios, in that sense, those things. I have to do the Ultimate 3DS Showcase. Pekarin, you reminded me of it. I have to do it. Shantae's Risky Revolution, in that sense, that was released recently for the Game Boy Advance. You need that one, Pekarin. Shantae's Risky Revolution. It finally released 24 years after the initial release, in that sense. 24 years after. It was originally a Game Boy Advance game. I remember when I was playing Sacred 2, I was telling you, Scarlet Dragoon and etc., I cannot do the Ultimate 3DS Showcase because Shantae's Risky Revolution hadn't released in that sense. And yes, pretty much, pretty much. It finally released. 24 years later, the final Game Boy Advance game, the second Shantae game, precisely there. Pretty much. How's the collection going, Pekarin? Now you are leaving me with a lot of doubts. You must understand it. How's the collection going? I got a Switch 2. I got the Switch 2, for example. I I pretty much skipped the first one and went straight for the second one. There are not many differences, and yeah, pretty much in that sense, I got the Switch 2. Yeah, at a shitty scalping price. A shitty scalping price, $800, $800 in that sense, and yeah, but I got it, and pretty much. But well, I didn't have the first one, so in that sense, I I said, well, what I didn't pay for the first one, I'll pay for the second one and have it right from the beginning. It's rare that I have a console on launch. In that sense, I generally wait until they release a better version because they always fuck up. They always fuck up, people. With the new releases, like the first Game Boy was legendary and etc. But then they added color, and with the 3DS, then they added this stable 3D. In that sense, there I fell for it. I have the OG 3DS and then also the new 3DS XL. But I remember it was the same with a lot of other ones. That I, of course, for example, instead of getting a GameCube, I got a Wii, for example, because it was backwards compatible. And before that, I had chosen instead the PS3. And I had the PS2 in that sense, that one, yes. But it was a huge jump in that sense. I feel that the consoles have lost a lot of personality, except for the Switch, in that sense. And I see a lot of people, for example, saying that the Steam Deck is amazing and the best. But for me, that it lacks the personality of the ones that are released with a gaming company behind it. Yeah, me too. Playing Mario Kart World every week. Ah, you got the second one. Other week with my partner. A lot of fun. Rainbow Road, of course. Terrific. Well. Yeah. There. Didn't get Bonanza though. Oh, that one looks amazing. I can tempt you with the songs that it has. It activates a song every time you get a transformation. If you watch the gameplays, it's amazing. That one. I need to. The thing is that I have such a huge backlog of modded consoles that I have to get through. It's absolutely terrible. But you got the second one. Wow, Pekar, wow. Well, you got the second one in that sense. You got the second one. Can't wait for them to mod it so it can kind of like activate the backwards compatibility of the GameCube, so you have a portable GameCube. Honestly, for me, that's one aspect that it should do. In that sense, because you know that the 3DS, people, it was like that. You know that a 3DS has inside of it physically. We debated this. I remember it has inside a physical DS and also a Game Boy Advance. Like, it's physically 3 in 1. It's absolutely brutal. It's absolutely brutal. So, in the case of the Switch, it's damn good. I've waited for F-Zero for years and finally I can play natively on Switch too. Yeah. Precisely that. The thing is that it's through emulation. It's not in that sense the physical backwards compatibility of the 3DS. So in that sense, the problem is that you are first of all limited by the ones that they choose. Like, it has to be the games that they choose, not the ones that you'd like first. Widescreen, 60 FPS, upscaled, look good. Yeah. Okay. I get it. So they did update it. 60 FPS it had originally, and it had, I think, widescreen originally. Yeah, that one. That one and Super Smash Melee did have widescreen back in the day, because there were analog widescreen TVs. They had that. The upscaling, no, of course. The upscaling that they did. But think of it like this, people. which one was it? Dolphin, Dolphin, the emulator of the GameCube, does internal upscaling. That one is upscaled external resolution. What you are mentioning, Pekarin. Dolphin, for example, increases the resolution internally, but it's not portable, and it's not official, and it's not online. Yeah, but I played F-Zero GX on emulators. Yeah, I know, and it was a stutter. It was a stutter fest. It wasn't properly configured. I can confirm it to you. I can confirm it to you. It wasn't properly configured. We watch. Wait, what a GPU? You had a good GPU, I remember. You had a good GPU. I guess, but now it's even portable. Yeah, that's the thing. It's an official release. It's not the same. I get the point. Yeah, it's much better as an official release without a doubt. Yeah. Well, those are amazing news, Pekar, that you got the Switch 2 and expanded the collection even more. In that sense, well, with the 3DS, you know what happened, right? We got a Virtual Boy, finally 3D Virtual Boy, for modded systems, of course. You can unlock the Virtual Boy 3D, the whole library, and you can play the amazing Jack Bros from Atlus. For those of you who know people, see, I know a lot of forgotten games that people will say all of the things that you talk about are shit. No, it's a cult classic. It was developed by Atlus, by the original Japanese team of Atlus, and it was amazing. Jack Bros. It's the only good game, let's say, that is worth playing of the Virtual Boy, and you can play it in real 3D now. You know that happened. Karin, it was after you visited precisely. It was after you visited precisely. In that sense, it was after you visited precisely. In that sense, that they released that. It was quite amazing. And now I have, for example, the 3DS. Just so you have an idea, my 3DS has native 3DS games. That's why I need to do the Ultimate Showcase. Native DS games. Native GBA games, native Game Boy games as well, because it has the hardware of the GBA. It's emulation, but it's the official one, and it's 100%. Up to here we start with emulation. Game Boy, but Wii U has... Lul, Wii U has everything. I never had a Wii U, but it has everything. It can pretty much do everything. It can do everything, but I still think the 3DS is even more versatile. In that sense, we have to do that legendary colossal fight then. Which one is the one that covers even more? The Wii U can do Wii, it has a Wii inside of it, and in turn it has a GameCube. Because it was still the same. They just reused the same hardware with small modifications. So yeah, pretty much. Yeah, the Wii U is also brutal, but as I said, sadly never had one. In that sense, it was amazing that it could with what the. Come on, let me loot that legendary. The Wii U can do Wii and GameCube. It can go up to 2 generations before, like the 3DS. But the 3DS, beyond the native compatibility with GBA, with DS and GBA, it can do Game Boy. It can do Super Nintendo. They updated the community developed Super Nintendo emulator. Mega Drive, of course. NES, that one is the worst one. The NES, ironically. The oldest one is the one that works the worst. But well. And it can do Virtual Boy now as well. And even arcade machines it can do. And you must be thinking, but they all run terribly. No, they all run at perfect 60 FPS. Also, Pekarin, I have something that I couldn't show you back then. I want to show you something that you'll love. And you can play DS on Wii U with official Virtual Console support. It's weird, but definitely interesting. No, it's amazing because you can use both the screens. I have to show you something, Pekarin, that I couldn't show you last year. that I couldn't show you last year. This is amazing, people. This is like when you reunite with your friends from high school. In that sense, that you haven't seen them in a lot of years. Well, it's like this. Look at this, Pekarin. I remember you loved uh, console collections and modded consoles. It's only 1 year, Kappa, yeah, but it feels like a lot. It feels like a lot. It's an analog situation. Just to have an idea, for example, in that sense, uh, here, for example, Flying Energies, Phantom, Ambra, Patrick, well, a lot of people that nowadays visit the stream, for example, visit me either 1 week yes, another one not, or even every day, just so you have an idea. I know that you were probably used that I used to talk alone for 4 hours in a lot of cases, which I enjoyed a lot because of the analysis and everything, and then they are watched a lot over at YouTube. But yeah. Look at this. I have something for you that I wanted to show you that I showed it to Scarlet Dragoon. Scarlet Dragoon visited me in January, for example. He was busy. He told me he was busy. Uh, Look at this. This I restored my childhood Arctic White Arctic White Game Boy Advance. And you must be thinking, well, see how impeccable it is. I think it's the most impeccable Game Boy Advance ever. It's my childhood Game Boy Advance. As you can see, it has, you know that it's mine. I had orange back in the 2000s. As you can see, I also had to restore the back plate here. As you can see, it has now European backplate. It has a European backplate because it says Game Boy, but it has an American sticker. So in that sense, and what I will recommend to you is this. That I paid $70 for this one. The Easy Flash Omega. In that sense, the Easy Flash Omega. With this, you can play all Game Boy Advance games and all Game Boy and Game Boy Color games. See how immaculate it is. I had to clean it, rechargeable batteries, the back plate, Easy Flash, yeah, got one. The one that is impossible to get is the other one. The which one was it? The other one. The other one that is impossible to find. The the other one the other one is impossible to find 100%. The that is extremely expensive. That is the competition of the Easy Flash Omega. The well, I lost the name, but because I haven't taken care of this once I bought this one. You play Shining Soul 2 back in the day on it? No, I played the Lord of the Rings Return of the King instead. I didn't have a I had back then Star Wars Trilogy Apprentice of the Force. I have them here. The games. For example, I have them here just so I can show them to you. I have them here. I played this one to death. I played this one. Then I have also Sonic Advance 3. The problem is that the cartridges, I don't know if it happened to you, in a pocket, yeah, Shining Soul 1 and 2, and the other one is the one from Kojima precisely, that few people know that it's been English patched and Solar Sensor patched, Boktai. Boktai 1, 2, and 3, Boktai The Sun is in Your Hand. Those ones are absolutely amazing in that sense. Absolutely amazing in that sense. Yeah. I had to do the ultimate 3DS showcase in which I showcase them all. You have the. I need to do a new one. I need to do a new one because the other one is outdated. In that sense. So yeah. Pretty much the idea is that yeah, the GBA had a lot of amazing what's this? Stream stopped working. What the fuck is this shit? There we go. It had a lot of amazing. I know it's not the image is frozen for a second, people. It's because I'm all timing to see my own stream that I cannot see. There we go. Perfect. In that sense. Good. There. the idea is that with the GBA there were a lot of Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance. The GBA version is completely different. For example, and Boktai. I don't know if you played Boktai. I couldn't, of course, because of the stupid solar sensor. None of us could, and it also drained the batteries like crazy. It was a flawed product as a whole. But there's a solar sensor patch for the 3DS and also an English patch for the third entry. In that sense, for Boktai 1, 2, and 3. In that sense, Boktai, you Google the English patch for the third one and the solar patches for the 3 of them. And in that sense, Pekarin, it will be. It's a quite amazing game. It was made by Kojima. That I remember when we chatted that he had gone to the hotel room with Jeff Keighley. I remember there in Japan. I remember. See, I have surgical memory, people. In that sense, I can remember when I spoke about years ago. In that sense, I still remember those that we were talking about. What a life you sell. What a life, because they went there. Well, so now we have that. I restored my. I love how the Yetis have the ass cheeks perfectly marked there, so the player can see them in all of their glory. Like, was it needed? Yes, player, it was needed. It was definitely needed that you had to look at the Yetis like that. The Shining Soul back. I didn't play that one. I played the Lord of the Rings ones, the Return of the King. I have it without a box. I have it in a cartridge there. And then those ones that are boxed. But generally, I could play more or less 10, 15 games in general. The ones I could tell... There's one that I bet you haven't played, Pekarin. I'll surprise you with this one. Yuka and the Monophonic Menace. That one is so obscure and it's amazing. It was developed by the same studio behind Scourge Hive. We are talking about quite obscure titles here, people, but I love doing so with people who collect consoles like him. So yeah, pretty much. Yuka and the Monophonic Menace, for example. It's by the same developers as Scourge Hive. So it's amazing. And it's more modern, because it was by the end of the life cycle of the Game Boy Advance. In that sense, I think it was 2006, something crazy like that. It was right by the end of the console. So yeah. TitanQuest 2 released its early access as well, that you linked to me back then. This map is killing my eyes. Never heard of it. Of course you knew it. Yeah. District, how's it going? This map is killing my eyes. Why? Because it's way too white. District? Because it's way too white. It's way too white because of the snow. It's kind of like illuminating the whole room. Yes. Well, consider also this. My monitor has the colors saturated, so the whites are more white and the blacks are more black. You know why I do that? To ensure that if I enter a cave in Skyrim, it will be real darkness and I will get lost in it. Interesting. Never heard of it. Of course you knew it. Yes, Yuka and the Monophonic Menace, Pekarin. That one, and Scourge Hive. Well, if you liked Shining Soul 1 and 2, the isometric action RPG library of the Game Boy Advance is basically the best ones are those. Boktai, that with a modded 3DS you can do English. You can do an English patch for the third game and patch the solar sensor for the other 3 games, for the other 2 games, the 3 of them. Then Shining Soul 1 and 2, of course. The remake of Sword of Mana is still the best version. You have a modern version on Android, but it's shitty. Then Scourge Hive and Yuka and the Monophonic Menace. Boktai, of course. And the Lord of the Rings trilogies. And Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance. I would say those that I named, I don't know how many they were. They are like the front line of the isometric action RPG library of the Game Boy Advance. I would say District 4. I know you haven't met him. This is Pekaren. This is a viewer back when I played Sacred 2. When you met me before, like a year before. I was playing that, and I'm glad that after a year he is as I've said, like when you meet a high school friend from years ago, like that. He has the console. He collects modded consoles like I do. So yeah, we love talking about those things. In that sense, Flying Energies today he rated me again. He's an angel. I'll rate him. He told me that he doesn't care if I only have one viewer. So if he's on, I will also rate him uh, in that sense, because yeah, he's been an angel with me, both you and him, without a doubt. So yeah, it's quite unique thing, people. It happened to me with another viewer when I played the Lord of the Rings War of in the North, like Keiichi from Armenia. He visited me like 3 years after. It was it's amazing. It's amazing when that happens. It's like a reunion in that sense. So yeah, the front line. And how's the rest of the collection going, Pekarin? Sorry, now I have doubts. How did the collection evolve? Which ones were you collecting out of all of the modded consoles? Like you went Switch 2 all the way? Switch 2 all the way? Or what? District, by the way, I did the whole chapter here. I did the whole chapter in under 2 hours. In under 2 hours in the first part of the stream. I'm progressing at such a fast pace that this is my legendary one-hit kill build, in which I only enhance the basic attacks, and it's poison, bleeding. I also drain life with my basic attacks. I also slow them down, slow enemies down, and increase my attack speed. All just with my basic attacks, people. I just do basic attacks. It's all I need. I designed this build back in 2010 when I played this game. Back when I played this game, like... I can say with a lot of pride that I didn't look up the build online at all, people. You must be lying, Eraser. Nope. I guess I was one of the pioneers, if then it got popular. It's one of the first characters that used it, that's without a doubt. So yeah, pretty much as you can see, my basic attacks alone deal so much damage. Karen, sorry, but I have doubts. How did the collection progress? I remember I recommended you Pokemon X Eternal that you liked on the 3DS. All of those that you liked on the 3DS, all of those. So yeah, now the library of the 3DS is finally complete with Shantae's Risky's Revolution. And a modern one that was also released was Good Boy Galaxy? Goodbye Galaxy, Good Boy, something like that with a doggy. It's quite good for the Game Boy Advance. And for the original Game Boy, there was one that I had to recommend to all of you that have modded consoles. The Moon 2021 on the original Game Boy. Pekarin. You've gotten hooked on emulator-based consoles like the Retroid and others I've seen. No, don't say that. No, I've seen, so to say. Yeah, no problem. You've seen with there's one that right now is quite popular. The K36S. It's not my, and the emulators run good, because I always feel that those that are like not official ones, the emulators don't go like perfect in that sense. That's why I use the 3DS, because it's native. But like the K36S, that one is getting quite popular. I see that everyone in Europe is getting them. Is getting that one. Or the Analog Pocket. Well, the Analog Pocket was shit, frozen. No. See, that's the only way I can get killed in this game, people. Getting stunned and not moving. See what I always mention to you, the influence of the level design on the gameplay mechanics. See that the difficulty there wasn't from the raw damage that they dealt. Uh, it was from the positioning on the battlefield and how I couldn't move. See what I always mention about the organic source of the difficulty, rather than just increasing the DPS of the monsters. If you got into Retroid and the other ones like the retro consoles that are, you're not taking my experience away. Yeah, this is like Dark Souls, people. You lose your experience. There. Give me a sec, because they deal a lot of damage. I just need to touch the damage over time. The poison does its job. The bleeding as well. And profit. So you got into those ones, and do they run the emulators good? Like the Analog Pocket, yes, because it was quite expensive. But the K60, the K36 S, those ones, and Retroid. Mayo Flip GBA, like, I know that one. Yeah, the one with the 4 buttons instead of 2. The Mayo Flip GBA like console, it can run up to PS1 games. Playing right now one race in Gran Turismo 2 before sleep, and well, my Pokemon games with save states. It's amazing piece of hardware. The one that has 4 buttons, I think. I think then I will Google it. It's not the one that is like a DS that has dual screens, because that one was from that brand. I remember was quite expensive. And 2 analog sticks. Okay. It's the one that is like a DS. That one was expensive. That one was quite expensive. It was like a portable 3DS and DS. It could emulate a lot. It had a lot of raw power in that sense. The Gran Turismo 2, you can play it on PS Vita, and it will use the amazing natural emulator of that they use for the PSP with a modded PS Vita. You can on the PS Vita. Ah well, I got a grip for the PS Vita. I think you weren't here when I did the Ultimate PS Vita showcase. I have to give you the Ultimate PS Vita showcase, Pekaren. It's on the front channel of YouTube. The Ultimate that I remember you loved. Analog Pocket kinda endgame of all that emulation-based consoles for me, but the price, yeah, the Analog Pocket was, well, it had a massive. You know what it does, the Analog Pocket, people? Basically, it has the FPGA hardware-based motherboard of the original hardware in it, and a much better screen. So yeah, it's quite premium. It's like a premium Game Boy, of course. Backlit screen, everything. People mod them, they customize them, so they also look like the original Game Boy, and etc. So yeah, pretty much. Oof, that must be expensive. This spear. I'll keep it in my inventory. Then, yeah, this is just there. Well, we'll have to drop. Let me activate a portal. Let me unload the inventory for a sec here, people. It shouldn't take long. There we go. So yeah, no, I have to show you this. Look at this, Karen. I bet you will appreciate this one. Look at this. I got a hand grip for the PS Vita, and with this, I can perfectly. It does the touch inputs there. It does the touch inputs. It has touch inputs in here, so you can have R2 and L2, and I showcased it, and like that you can, for example, play Borderlands 2 much better, and you will tell me the performance is shit on that game and etc. I followed guides to unlock the 4th core when playing Borderlands 2, and it's much more decent. I did the Ultimate PS Vita showcase. In that sense, that I know you love all of those things. I highly recommend it. It's the front cover video of YouTube, of the YouTube banner down below. It was my most watched video of last year, so I know that you love all of the consoles, so all of the modded consoles, and I can assure you, my showcase of the PS Vita is the most complete on the internet. It's not because it's mine. I'm not bluffing. It's the most complete ever for a modded PS Vita. So yeah, I'm not bluffing. It is the most complete, people. It took me 3 streams of 4 hours, and pretty much I covered all of the technical details in the first one, but it was so much that yeah, there are people who watched. I have the analytics. People watched the fucking full 4 hours of it. Yeah, but enemies just disappearing after killing M in Borderlands 2 beta port. Kinda bummer for me, an immersion break. Yeah, immersion in Borderlands 2, I know. Yeah, it has the problem of popping, but yeah. In that sense, then otherwise it's the Switch version. Then otherwise it's the Switch version for you. Um, in that sense, yeah, they pop. They don't. It doesn't have a lot of draw distance. It doesn't have a lot of draw distance, but it's still, well, it's a miracle that it. I don't know how it fucking works in there. I don't know how it fucking works in there, because it clearly means that it wasn't meant to be on that console. But yeah, but it's Magic Port, of course. Yeah. The it's absolutely amazing. You saw that they finally released the game that you linked last time as I was playing Sacred 2, precisely the TitanQuest 2, the second one out of this one. I'm playing this one because I need to. TitanQuest 2, yeah. You linked it. It's still in the Discord chat in the general run. Early access, yeah. Well, I'm playing it because here I need to unlock the Embers expansion difficulty. You know that there's the last expansion that they released for this game. I did every single side quest in this one on normal difficulty, right? Now I'm playing it on second difficulty, and I'm doing like a flash run of epic difficulty, the second one, to access the third one, which is legendary, because it's the only way to access the Embers expansion, which was the ending of Titan Quest Enhanced Edition. It's kind of like the final portion. So by the time they release the final version of Titan Quest 2, I want to be ready, and that's why I want to finish this one. Like the Embers expansion on legendary difficulty. That's the key. You can only access it with. You can only access it if you get to the third difficulty. Imagine like Diablo, Nightmare, and Hell difficulty. Those things. Same here. So I am doing 1 chapter per stream. I'm doing a flash run at a very fast pace. Like I did the whole. I think the stream is still on of last Thursday. I did kind of like all of Greece in 1 stream, 4 hours. Besides with the chat and district. I don't know if you're still there. District, Umbra, with the rest of the people. The time just flies as I get through it. Besides it, the story is just few dialogue lines. So yeah. The other one that I'm playing is Dragon Sun Online. Did I update the quest there, people, or I just progressed through it? Ah, yeah. The Telkin has stolen the sickle of Cronos and it's worth living it. Track the Telkin with the sickle. Alright, just proceed through it. So yeah, I want to. I don't know if you finished Titan Quest 1, this one, but I want to get ready for the second one, even if I play it offline. It's like that's why it's leisure gameplay. I still do the analysis on Tuesdays when I bring the cases. Once I'm done with this one, I'll start a new case, basically. So yeah, I saw the early access of Titan Quest 2, and it looks good. It looks quite good what they are doing. The original creators are the ones behind Grimdawn. I don't know if I don't know if THQ brought the same people, which would be great entertainment. But yeah, technically Titan Quest 2 is Grimdawn. That one would technically be the third one. That one would technically be the third one because it was the original team that did Grimdawn. And now I can see the debate. I can see the debate people starting. Which one is the true Titan Quest 2? Grim Dawn or Titan Quest 2 actually? Well, that one will be quite vicious. You know why? Because Grim Dawn was technically developed by the very same team behind Titan Quest 2. And Titan Quest 2, is technically THQ Nordic that retained the license. So it's gonna be a bloody online battle between the original fans of the original game who support the original studio and those that will say, but the number 2 is on this one. And the gameplay mechanics are the same, we'll see. So yeah, pretty much. It's going to be a bloody battle, people. At least it won't be the tragedy of Baldur's Gate 3. Jacob, if you are watching, that I know that you love Baldur's Gate 3, that they prostituted the combat gameplay mechanics, making them turn-based, and the producer of Baldur's Gate 3 insulted all of the original audience, saying that we were all outdated, they were all outdated gameplay mechanics, the real-time with post-combat system. Precisely. That's a question I was going to ask a lot of you last Thursday, people. If you like more turn-based or real-time combat in games. For example, Jacob liked Baldur's Gate 3 for other reasons, for a girl that was apparently way too pretty in it, Evelyn or something like that. And I said, but poor Morrigan then, that she's also quite amazing. And he said, yeah, Morrigan as well. Yeah, but Baldur's Gate 1 was planned to be turn-based, but the release of Diablo messed things up. Indeed. But internally, it still had the... I covered this story when I played Hellgate. Internally, well, Baldur's Gate was the first one. It was meant to be released. Precisely, it's so important because all of the other games were turn-based. We were being quite influenced by Japanese turn-based games. All the things like the ones that Pokemon was also based on, the old Dragon Quest. We're talking about Dragon Quest 1 and 2, the creations that Tajiri inspired himself, that drew inspiration from to develop Pokemon. For example, he mentioned in one of the interviews, Satoshi Tajiri, the creator of Pokemon, that he used to play Dragon Quest every single day on his Game Boy. You know that Pokemon was released right at the end of the life cycle of them, and yeah, the huge thing was that Diablo 1, in that legendary moment in which David Brevik, the creator of Diablo 1, I read the article. Apparently, this is not a joke, people. This is not a joke, Karen. The light shone through his window as he was killing some skeletons in a turn-based game. Diablo 1 was originally a turn-based game, like the rest of them, and apparently the light shone through the window and he turned the clock, the internal clock of the game, down to 0, and that's when real-time combat was born. And Baldur's Gate 1, of course, in its development cycle, was trying to adapt the tabletop game. Dungeons & Dragons is basically like that. It comes the Lord of the Rings, Dungeons & Dragons, the tabletop game, and then 3.5, the edition. And then, of course, precisely, then it finally divorces from turn-based to real-time with pause. Of course, you guys know by now that I love the real-time with pause combat system, and I despise what Baldur's Gate 3 did with it. What Baldur's Gate 3 did with it, that is fully turn-based. But yeah, I think it was... So the light shone through his window, and David Brevik with Diablo 1 turn the clock down to 0. Baldur's Gate 1 still is turn-based. It's just that it's internal, technically. I know it says real-time with pause and everything, but internally, it's still turn-based because a set amount of seconds, this is way too technical, but it's like this, Pekka, in the article I read it, that topic extensively, precisely, because I loved it. It's a fascinating moment of the gaming industry. Still, it's turn-based internally, still, because a set amount of seconds still equals a turn, that you cannot go over it. Like, a turn is 2 seconds, and no matter how much attack speed you have, imagine that you have infinite attack speed, anyways, the turn would be 2 seconds for you to perform the spell, for example. Yeah, and that combat log thing, kinda winking. Yeah. It's still 2 seconds. I know it's all internal, so it hides it, but it's still turn-based. It's just that it hides the turns. But I think it was... I'm using just my memory, but I think it was 2 seconds per turn. If you start counting at the beginning of a turn in Baldur's Gate, 2 seconds, you will see that is like a turn, a full turn in that sense, a full turn. And the combat log kind of wingy. Yeah. Well, the combat log executes at the end. There you have the proof. It executes at the end of each round, and each round is still 2 seconds, no matter how much the attack speed. For example, it's not technically real time, because you cannot surpass the amount of attacks and actions that you would do in those 2 seconds. That is the turn. That is the key. That is the key. For example, in this one, as I increase my attack speed, I can, because it's true real time. In those ones are still technically turn-based. It's just that it's real-time how to manage it, but it's still turn-based internally in that sense. Diablo 1, well, in the case of Diablo 1, as I've said, the light shone through the window, and David Brevik, the legend says, he got the inspiration from the heavens that he would turn the clock down to 0. That internal clock that Baldur's Gate was still taking into account. It was just that Baldur's Gate divided it in sets of 2 seconds. He eliminated it. He turned it down to 0. The clock is still there, huh? It's still there, but it's at 0. The same with all of these games. It's still there, but it's still at 0. It's still at 0 in that sense. So, yeah, the early access. I don't know if you tried the early access of TitanQuest 2. Here I'm getting ready for it. In that sense, I want to finish the final expansion, the Embers expansion, before proceeding. In that sense, I love playing the games in order. For example, I didn't play The Witcher 3 without playing the other 2. The Witcher 1, for example, is a great example of that system. That they are going to remaster it, and they are probably going to prostitute the amazing combat system that I bet modern players hate. That they say is quite outdated, like David Brevik, the developer of Baldur's Gate 3. It will be like that. The Witcher 1 has such an outdated combat system, and I know it's quite incredible, the combat system. I loved it, I must say. It's just that it's complex, and you won't understand it at the beginning, people. Well, so you play Sacred 1 on that channel? My memory is not that good, by the way. No. Sacred 1, no. I promised it to Scarlet Dragoon, and I will eventually play it, but no. I played Drakensang 1, which is like Baldur's Gate, precisely. Also a German production. Spellforce 1. Then I played Split Second. Singularity. I also played in this Drakensang Online and Star Wars The Old Republic. Pretty much those are, and did the Ultimate PS Vita Showcase on this. All of those you will find as updated since Sacred 2. And I think I haven't forgotten any of them. I think those are all of the ones that I covered. Wait, so you play Sacred One? No, 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 I didn't. I didn't. Not Sacred One. Not Sacred One. Besides, you are telling me that they may remaster it after those. The problem with Sacred One is that I would need to upscale the resolution of the screen to my monitor, Pekarin. It would be like I would need to create a scene, a frame specifically for it, so it can upscale from when modded Sacred One is 1600 by 900. It will need to scale from that up to 2K. Your memory is not that good, by the way. No, don't say that. Don't say that. If you remember my channel, or was it because of the message I posted on Discord that the channel is about to reach affiliate status? That just needs an average of 3 viewers to reach affiliate status, as I finally surpassed the 50 followers mark. I need like 3 average viewers in a whole month, and like that it will unlock the bots staying up for 15 days. That's what I want to do. Basically, Pekarin, just so you have an update. I surpassed the mark of 50. Fortunately, finally, in that sense, and basically using lossless scaling with the give me a second. The Gargantuan Yeti is gonna kill me, and the fountain is far away. No, it's the Streamlabs scaling the scene for Streamlabs. Oh, I'm running out of potions, people. The Yeti at 10 o'clock. Using the lossless scaling. No, it's the modded. The original resolution is much lower. Modded, I can push up to 1600 by 900. I tried, and then I would need to use Streamlabs, the streaming recording software, to upscale from 1600 to 900 to 2K, which is the resolution of my monitor. Like, you need to compare the resolution of your monitor. You have to design a scene in Streamlabs specifically only for that game, and then you delete it. Of course, if you're not gonna use that resolution anymore, that is way too specific. So that's a lot of effort, and doing that, if no one is going to watch that game, well, you can see why I'm not incentivized to stream it. So yeah, pretty much that's the thing. That's the thing why I haven't streamed Sacred One in that sense yet. In that sense, it's a lot of effort adapting the resolution of the monitor and the stream. Okay, one day then, well, I don't know if people show a bit even a bit more of interest, at least 2 people watching it, well, I would consider it. But it's a lot of effort to scale the resolution because you also cannot see it. I have to do it kind of like blindly until I get the right resolution. Like, yes, people can watch it once, twice, but then I can spend like a whole weekend adapting the screen to it, which is quite Sacred One, way too niche. That's the thing. I will adapt the screen, and then no one will. It will take me a whole weekend. I will enjoy the game and everything, but then no one will care about it. Like, if a lot of people didn't care about Sacred 2, with the majestic piece of software that it is, imagine that one. Imagine that one. It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. It's what I mention all the time. You know that I started precisely, I think I told you back then that I started my streams with RTS games, and I enjoyed them and perfectly. But it was a way too mechanical genre. Nice head there, nice physics there for that specific one, for that specific tiger. How it ended up there. But then, as I said, it's way too mechanical. If you tell me, I don't know, or if I spot that, I don't know, you would love it a lot, and one more person would love it a lot, and you would enjoy it so much that you would watch it all together, all of the 40 60 streams that I would do about it, because it's a quite long game. I would dare do it, but otherwise it's a rerun of for Sacred 2 Remastered. Then Kampa, of course it's a joke. I don't know, because that one will be popular because it will be a new game. That would be a crazy idea. Rerun of Sacred 2. You would survive a rerun of Sacred 2, Pekarin? Would you survive a... would someone survive a rerun of Sacred 2? With 700 quests? That would be torture at that point. Would you survive it, Pekarin? A rerun of Sacred 2 Remastered? That would be brutal. That would be brutal, people. No. I wouldn't do the side quests, I guess. No. You remember that legendary gameplay of Sacred 2, eh? It was like engraved in your mind. The 700 quests. The 700 quests of it. And let's see how they do it. Maybe they cut some quests out of it. Karen. Maybe they cut some quests out of it. That's what they do in a lot of modern remasters, you know? My bad, in another... or my god, my bad, in another timeline. In another timeline. Well, see, people, we should have alternate dimensions so I can do a rerun of that beast. Maybe in another timeline. Would you wouldn't survive it then. You wouldn't survive a rerun of Sacred 2. No one survived, eh? I finished the game by the end of it with I think by the end of it Crowbar was there. Yes, I think Crowbar was there in one of the final streams when I started with the expansions, because you know that then it has expansions after the base game. and I think Crowbar was in almost the final stream, but the final expansion, yes, I did it alone. I did it alone. Scarlet Dragoon survived up to the final analysis without the expansions. It was so massive that I had to first do the final analysis and then do the expansions. Scarlet Dragoon was up to the final, and then but then he visited with Spellforce, I think in January of this year. I think it was, and I think Crowbar made it to. He appeared in one of the expansions. In one of the expansions, I chatted with him as I killed the Frost Dragon. I think in the Ice expansion, and then the Blood expansion I had to do it on my own. The final boss of it. No one survived that one. No one survived Sacred 2. No one did so. No one did so. I should have switched the game previously. In that sense, it was absolute torture. I could tell. In that sense. But yeah, I can say that I'm one of the few people alive that did a 100% run of Sacred 2. One of the few brave 1% souls. Who's developing the remaster? Do you know, Pekarin? Who's developing the remaster? Who's developing it? The studio behind it. Do you know the development studio? Who is it? Who could be? Who could be the poor victim? The poor victim doing that because they had to redo 700 quests. Who's the poor victim? THQ? Like Titan? Sparkling Beat. I have no idea who... I also don't have any idea. Sparkling Beat. Weird. How did they end up with the license? Because Sacred 3 was a flop, we all know. A tragedy. And the franchise was pretty much dead. Who would that be? Published by THQ, of course. Ah, no, well. No, then if it's published by THQ, I have absolute absolute. They retain the license after the third game. No, then I have total confidence. Sorry, I know a lot of people don't trust the THQ, but I love it. It's one of my favorite studios. They revived Darksiders. They are going to release Darksiders 4 as well. Looks like they got a bit of money and they are reactivating old projects then. No, if it's THQ, I love THQ. If it's THQ, absolute confidence. If it's a publisher, then that's the internal studio. But if THQ it's in it, it's for me. I know they did the problem with the tablet long ago and everything. You probably hate them, Pekarin, like the rest of the audience, but I think that throughout time, the consistency of the games that they release is amazing too. I love THQ in that sense. I must be one of the few defenders of that one. Of that one, but yeah, I think it's THQ has always. They are releasing Darksiders 4 as well, so I think I see it's a pattern. They are finishing the job. I see they are finishing the job. Interesting, like the Halo song, right? In Halo 2. One of my most brutal experiences, people, was doing Halo 2 on legendary difficulty off stream. I have the save file if it hasn't been fucked over by updates, but yeah, that was painful. I finished it, but it was painful. Halo 2 on legendary. No, if it's THQ, Pekarin. I don't know if you like them or not. It's a legendary Swedish studio. Now it's THQ Nordic, but I always love them. I think the best AA games have been released by them. I love the way they do. Then the policies with what they did with the tablet, with the iToy, I think it was something like that. That got them bankrupted. That was stupid, of course. But yeah, if it's THQ, if THQ is behind it, the developer, I don't know a single thing about them. Sparkling Beat, but if THQ is behind them, wait, Sparkling Beat, according to their website page, was original Sacred developers reunited again. Is that real? I have no idea. Sorry, the original developers. Well, it's been a year. Well, now I don't remember those. It was I covered it in the first stream of Sacred 2. I covered the whole in the first stream. I did the whole story of the whole yeah the whole story the whole that the studio went through in that sense. The whole story. It was now I don't remember, but it's all documented in the first stream. That's why I have it documented now, people. You know that in the first stream of each series, I cover the whole journey of the development studio every time I start an analysis. So it's there, the whole studio, whole story of Ascaron. Ascaron was great. Loved their games. Port Royale, Tortuga. Yeah. I covered the. I mean, I don't go over each release. I get as to the ultimate fate of the studio that was absorbed by Silver. Now it's coming to me. Pekarin. They were absorbed by Silver, the German one, Deep Silver. Deep Silver. Deep Silver. The original team was absorbed by Deep Silver and kind of like internally dissolved inside of Deep Silver as a division. Yep, that one. Now I remember. See, I told you I have a good memory, people. I remember reading that. I read all of that in the first stream. Yes, I covered the story, the story, the history without capital letters because that would be the subject at school, but the history because it's based on real facts. If it's a story, it's then fictional things rather than facts, than real life facts. I do a recap of the whole history of the studio behind the game that I analyze, and I remember that they were absorbed by Deep Silver, so they were like an internal division, the Ultimate Fate, of Deep Silver. I have no... And a group, there was another group. The original Ascaron team was then split into several mini teams. One was an internal one of Deep Silver. Another one, I think it was an internal one of THQ, and another portion, an internal one of another one. I don't know. They basically divided in third portions, something like that. A sparkling bit, but they are just remastering it. That it was reunited the original developers with THQ publishing it. Whoa. Whoa. Damn it. Well, that explains some things. Point 1. Why the views of Sacred 2 streams on my channel have skyrocketed a bit. That explains that. Second, even if they are 1 year old, generally that doesn't happen with older videos. It generally happens with more modern videos. That's huge. Yes. And second, it explains why they were like... it explains why THQ also is doing Darksiders 4 and finally finishing the series. So apparently THQ is a profitable company, people. Never make that mistake. I made that mistake once when they went bankrupt with the iToy. Be careful, because they developed the games at an extremely low price. Like Darksiders 3 was criticized to death, like everything, all the shit you can imagine. But they ensure, since the bankruptcy with the iToy, they ensure that the games are profitable. By a small margin, they don't care. Then they wait some years, and they do that. But I think it's quite healthy. Because, I don't think they're going to go bankrupt again. They must have a new round of investors. They must have changed direction in the economic part, but they ensure... I've noticed this pattern. They ensure that the games are profitable. If they have to wait 5 years to release a new entry, I think the last one for Darksiders was the isometric action RPG, the twin stick shooter, Darksiders Genesis. That was a spin-off. But Darksiders 3 was still profitable. Another quote from their YouTube channel: Sparkling Beat is a German... Yes, they are their associates. German game development studio founded by the original creators of the acclaimed Sacred series. We continue to specialize in role-playing games. If they are German, they are the original studio, but it would be... It would be... Well, if we are counting Sacred... Let's not count Sacred 3. Let's not count that tragedy. It would be... Sacred 2 was 2008. It would be... What? Shit. It would be what? A 17 years... Sacred 3 never happened. Pekaren, it never happened. That's all we need to know. Yes. Yeah, we can now confirm it never happened in our minds. It was an illusion. Yes, the idea is that it's a 17-year hiatus? Could it be? A 17-year hiatus? Reviving from the ashes like a phoenix? It never happened. Of course, it never happened. Kappa, it never happened. Let's suppose it never happened. It would be a 17-year hiatus. It would be in 17 years. 17 years, how time flies. I'll buy 2 copies then. No, to compensate for Sacred 3. to compensate for Sacred 3 of the remastered version. Mm. Mm. Damn it. Now I feel terrible about not streaming the remastered version, but well, at least I'm part of the OG fan base technically now. It will it will be 17 years. Yeah, it's like I just hope that more companies follow the example of THQ because they are. Now we just need that Mario and Luigi. Well, it also made a comeback. That it also went back to bankruptcy. Alpha Dream. It would be the same case, but they were absorbed kind of like in an internal development studio. This is the same. And now, if they are German, they are the original developers. They are. They are the original developers in that sense. So I've noticed that with THQ games that they ensure that they make enough money to survive, and they are definitely profitable. So I like THQ. I don't know if you like THQ, Pekarin. They done stupid things in the past, without a doubt. But for example, they updated Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. They updated it. I have to try that one. I love the games that they developed. I like their games more than a lot of AAA games. Biomutant, that was terribly criticized. They know how to do the things. That was another THQ. But yeah. It was another one. I also like that one. It was good or they were good. They were good. This one is THQ Nordic, but no, they are the. Aren't they the same? The Swedish ones? Aren't they the Swedish guys? There, it's still a Swedish studio, right? When publishing THQ, correct? They are still the same Swedish guys. They were Swedish. They're in Sweden. They were there in Sweden. I believe. Hmm. In that sense, they were there in Sweden. Hell, so many things happened since last year, people. That when you visited Pekarin, Trump wasn't even president. Look at that. So many things happened in the meantime. So many things can happen in a fucking year. So yeah, they're still the Swedish guys. I think they're still the Swedish guys. They're still the Swedish guys. They're still the Swedish guys. That came out of nowhere. Yeah. I'm mentioning it because um, then afterwards, I had precisely, I had a Polish viewer. Who, well, who also loved the streams. And precisely as I talked a bit about politics, he was so sensitive. That 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 I said that I was against legalization of public prostitution in Poland, and he defended the legalization of public prostitution because he said that Germany did it, so and the Netherlands did it, so he wanted it for Poland, and and pretty much then he hated me, and in the final analysis of Sacred 2 over at YouTube, you can see him writing to me 3 massive, huge paragraphs saying that my analysis system and everything is shit just because I said that I was against public prostitution and that I am generally conservative. So, yes, because of that, ire is not out of nowhere, it's related to what happened immediately afterwards I finished Sacred 2. He wrote me 3 huge paragraphs just because he couldn't take that I was against legalization of public prostitution. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, 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 yes. I sometimes uh, talked about the politics on stream, and yes, yes, yes. There are some sensitive people that it's way too much fun. I've learned that, and that's why I generally don't bring it up anymore as much as I did back then. In that sense, yeah, pretty much, pretty much, in that sense. But yeah, just it was the immediate person after I met you. That's why it's not out of nowhere. It had a link. You can still see the paragraphs that he wrote to me. You can still see the paragraphs that he wrote to me. In the final analysis of Sacred 2. Ah, three huge paragraphs. Quite big. Quite big. Quite big. Brutal. But yeah, in the case of THQ, you say that they are different ones. That they are different ones. Uh, by the way, I before anyone, for anyone watches this as a YouTube bot, in any case, I told the first thing I told to the person, okay, we can debate politics if I'm sure that you won't be because he wanted to talk about it, that you won't be uncomfortable about it, and his first phrase was, I would never feel uncomfortable debating politics. Never. That was the first phrase. And and with that, then he got angry because I wasn't exactly saying what he wanted. I criticized the People's Party of Europe precisely as well. That's the thing. I criticized the People's Party. So yeah, pretty much. So they're the same guys. They're the same guys. They're the same guys. Do you know if they are Swedish, by the way? Just in case. Pekarin? Do you remember if they are still the Swedish guys? If they are Swedish, they're the same. They're the same pretty much. I don't see how they would be different people. They're the same from mm, Big Huge Games, Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, Neanderthal Tribe. His song has been missing for if no, but those are side quests. What about the main quest? With the sequel, I think I skipped this shit. Could it be? If they're the Swedish guys, um, if they are the Swedish guys, they are the they are the same people pretty much. They are the same people pretty much, without a doubt. They are the same. Maybe they changed the names of the internal development studios though. They do change them, 100%. The one that you mentioned that did it, which one was it? Sparkling Beat, still German, founded by the original creators, and then they published under THQ. So they partnered with one of the. They got away from the claws of Deep Silver then, huh? That's interesting. That's a history of independence, because they were totally absorbed. They were totally absorbed. I remember, like, a portion of the studio. I remember I could never explore the developer dungeon because I fucked up with the mod something. It was the last thing that I didn't do. It was the only thing that I didn't do, explore the developer dungeon, because I fucked up the quest line or something like that. That it was the only thing left, basically. But well, I don't know if you watched the spoilers of the ending of Sacred 2, Pekarin. If you watched the spoilers of Sacred 2, the ending of it, I ended up playing a modded version, the one that I was playing, and I ended up going up against 8 final bosses instead of the normal one. 8 of them. like the final boss of the game. Imagine it multiplied by 8 times. 8 times. I ended up going up against 8 of them. 8 versions of the final boss of the game. Like that. Straight up. Because of the enhanced edition. Then I realized that the enhanced edition caused the crashes, the memory leaks, so it's only the community patch. That's how you fix it. That's how you fix it. So yeah, so many things happened in one year. So many things. So many things. Well, let's not even talk about with the the Middle East crisis, people, as well. The Middle East crisis happened as well. Let's say. Absolutely, a lot of things happen in one year. Have you noticed? Since the, I've noticed that since the pandemic, a lot of that stuff kind of like accelerated. A lot of that stuff accelerated. A lot of things. That sounds. Yeah. Well, at least hopefully THQ Nordic will survive until the end of times. If there's one thing that is certain in the universe, is that THQ will survive and keep making games. That's the universe will discover, will transcend Earth, will explore space. Artificial intelligence is now a fucking thing in our everyday life, I guess. It's being pushed so hard and everything. But one thing won't change in the universe. We may explore new dimensions, go beyond the solar system, everything. But one thing is for certain. THQ Nordic will survive and keep making games. It may go bankrupt. But it will change its name and survive. No, I'm glad that that what you are telling me, Pekarin. Then I will check the link in case you left it over at Discord. Here, yes, I have to block them because of the stupid bots. In that sense. So sorry for that. That's why I want to also get to affiliate status, Pekarin, precisely because that will allow me. Yeah, link is in Discord. Okay. Then that's why I want to get to affiliate status, Pekarin, more than anything, because then I bet even Crowbar has already seen it. He's active on Discord more. The thing is that I want to get to affiliate status to precisely give VIP badges to all of you that drop links in chat. You are not the only one. If you watched previous streams, you'll see that I chat with other people. Ambra, District also wanted them. It will authorize VIP badges, and with that, you will be able to post the links. But the bots, the filthy, disgusting bots, will be still blocked. That way I will be able to make a filter. That's what I want to do precisely. And it will allow the bots to stay up for 15 days instead of 7. That's the thing. I made it to the followers mark of 50. I need, as I said, 3 average viewers in 8 streams. And with that, I will finally be able to give you all big badges, and there you will all be able to post the links without the stupid bots. I don't know if you've ever seen the bots in other streams. Here I have them completely blocked because precisely I have links blocked. It's an extreme measure, but it was unbearable previously. It was absolutely unbearable. They would swarm me. It wasn't 1, it wasn't 2. I would get like 5 per stream, and they play with the idea that you don't ban them because you get tired eventually. And yeah, no matter how many I blocked, they kept coming and kept coming like a fucking army of zombies, and kept coming and kept coming and kept coming, and it was... Okay, I think I skipped some shit here. Damn it, those are stupid arrows. Careful. I think I skipped the main story. I killed so many of them that I skipped the main story. Guess I think we'll have to backtrack a bit here. Okay, then I will check it out. Well, Crowbar must have already seen it. He must be. He must be uh, uh, in absolute joy as well. So yeah. I'll check that one. And precisely as I've said, the channel is fortunately on the verge of finally getting affiliate status, and thanks to that, I'll be able to organize it much better. That's an update regarding of what has happened in that sense. It's sad for me that that precisely Sacred 2 is so forgotten when I played it, and it was a work of art in that sense. So many, I can name you others that you will tell me, well, they are even more forgotten.
Thank you.
That are amazing pieces of software in that sense. Like, maybe not here. Let me teleport to the other one. That are absolutely amazing. Let's try this one. For example, Hellgate London. For example, I remember that Crowbar knew about it. I don't know if you knew about it. I don't remember that much. I don't remember, but Hellgate London deserves. I think it's getting a remaster. Now they are all realizing that that they should remaster all of those games. But for example, I can name you. I don't know. If they would remaster Forza Horizon 1 and 2, I don't know. But I can go even more obscure. You know that one of the first people that discovered my stream precisely, as you can read, is the level designer of Havencast Rise of the Mage. Havencast Rise of the Mage is another one like Sacred 2. It's much more linear. It's much more linear. But yeah, it's another amazing game that is forgotten. I played another once. I almost forgot. I did one more thing, Pekarin. I forgot about one more. I did the ultimate MOBA, offline MOBA series. And among the games that I showcased, I played one called Blood Sports TB by Fat Shark, also Swedish, coincidentally. We can all agree that Swedish people do good video games. I highly recommend it to you. Blood Sports TV. I have it on the channel as part of the MOBA, of the offline MOBA series. I did the offline MOBA series. I did MOBAs that can be played offline and everything. And yeah, you tried Hellgate London. I remember in Discord that you couldn't play London 2038 because of the connection. Yeah, I remember the message. It's the last message that you posted precisely, I think. There. Could you play Hellgate London in the end? Then. Now you're leaving me with the doubt. Could you play Hellgate London in the end? Could you play it? Like, I remember I recommended you the offline version of it. Could you in the end play it? I remember it was you had the problem with London 2038 with the modded version. I remember. Yeah. I remember Hellgate London. That I suggested you London 2038, which was the game that I had played in the year prior to Sacred 2. Damn it, how life goes by, people. How life goes by. It's now I feel like it's been an eternity. It's been an eternity since I started streaming in the pandemic. After the pandemic, it was after it. So yeah, it was a bit before. I think I did one or two before the first ones of the channel with Age of Empires and Dungeons and Dragons, Dragon Shard, those ones. But I remember then I played Hellgate London, and you couldn't play the online version because of the connection to it. Could you play the offline one? I still have to play Hellgate Global in that sense. I remember. Yeah. Yeah. Now you left me with the doubt if you could ever play Hellgate London in that sense. Well, maybe you did other things other than playing video games in IRL. Maybe you did other things. I'm only asking about the video games. It's just that I love chatting with all of you, especially when so much time passes with those things. Oh yeah. Fortunately, regarding my story with the channel Pekarin, it had a happy ending because after two Polish viewers were way too sensitive my comments, and even so I told them that I respect all stances and everything, regardless of what would they say and everything and etc. Now Ambra, if you're watching Ambra, that he's probably sleeping, but he sometimes he visits. He was here on Tuesday. Ambra from Poland is the third Polish viewer I have that is much more reasonable with all those things. For example, just so you have an idea. So yeah, third time was the charm with Polish viewers in that sense. Third time was the charm. In that sense, Ambra, if you're watching, always I salute you there and everything. So yeah, as you can see, Pekarin it's been quite a journey for me. And yeah, I'm right now on the verge of finally after 4 long years, without silly, as I wrote in the message, silly hot tap tactics, silly bots, and everything, finally making it to at least affiliate, where it will at least be, I don't know, it will at least allow me to filter the bots and increase the storage capacity convenience up to 15 days in that sense, Pekarin. So yeah. Well, it's absolutely incredible how time flies, how it flies. And well, in the end, I'll be honest with you, people. I'll be honest with you. I do those things sometimes when I speak about politics or whatever, um, precisely to 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 filter those that were like those two viewers that were like they were extremely liberal in that sense, which is totally fine. I have had and I have a lot of liberal viewers, but they were like radicalized. Like I couldn't say a thing without them, uh, in that sense, getting crazy. In that sense. So yeah, that's the thing, because I can listen to something completely opposite to mine. Like, well, I have to, as you can imagine, I also don't do a good job as a streamer to not talk about those things and get along with everyone. But basically, the thing is that for example, I have to watch every day on TV people who support, I don't know, uh, Palestine, or let's say the Islamic side of Middle East. And for example, I am the opposite, and I am not being Jewish. I am Catholic. I'm Italian. Italians are Roman Catholic in that sense. But I can listen to it. I can watch a TV show in which people think exactly the opposite. Exactly the opposite. And they couldn't. That's the thing. That's the thing. Like that. So yeah. pretty much. Uh, in that sense, I bet you all think exactly the opposite of me in so many things, so many things, on so many things, and even so, you can at least sometimes listen to those things. Being able to listen is a thing, and they weren't. I don't know what's going on in Poland. I told it to those viewers. I don't know what was going on there in Poland, but those two were extremely obsessed with a lot of things. I'm telling you, uh, people, anyone watching this as a YouTube bot, you can still find the comments in the final analysis of Sacred 2, and it was all because I said that I was against legalization of public prostitution in the Netherlands, for example, in that sense. Okay, so, well, then Pekarin, if you can write to me over at Discord, even if you don't have time now, whenever you have time, if you could finally play Hellgate London, because I remember I suggested it to, I think to, yeah, it was to you, to you and to the other Polish viewer that left precisely. Yeah, Hellgate London. If you could finally play the offline version of it. That yeah, I could do a dual installation in the end, of Hellgate London. I can play it both offline and online. The London 2038 version online and the offline version with the dual installation that I told you. If you need the link, tell me and I can point you in the direction of it. That's why I was asking if you maybe if you found it on your own in that sense, because you had to mod the 2038 version. Otherwise, just play the base version in that sense. Where's that Telkin? I have to find that Telkin. Where is that stupid Telkin? Mistress of the Mountain? No. Main quest. Track the Telkin with the sickle. Head eastward. Leaving Fajan injured. You must track the Telkin and learn his goal and stop him. God damn it, people. I progressed so fast. So fast. I progressed so fast. Maybe it was here that I skipped where the Telkin was headed to? Could it be? Some cave that I didn't explore? Could it be? Weird.
The wise meet danger well prepared.
Indeed. Oh yeah. I ended up with the that about that. Okay. Telkin.
You killed them! Stranger, you saved my farm!
Yes, I did.
See this thing you speak of? A horde of monsters.
Okay, more or less it was over here. Shit, this is the problem with this game. It doesn't tell you where to go once you left a wake of destruction behind you. I killed so many that I don't see where the Telkin could be. In that sense. Okay. Then I will watch the Sacred 2 link. That's without a doubt, people. Without a doubt, Pekarin. And well, thank you always for visiting again after the year. I love those reunions, as I told you. I love it in that sense. I do love it in that sense. I always love it more, of course, when you all visit me every day, of course. But yeah. It's amazing because I know you all have your real life things and stuff to do, and besides, I know there's a huge time zone difference in that sense. With most of you, there's a 5-hour difference, so or more. So yeah, in that sense, it's for me, it warms my heart every time any of you visit or well, with flying energy is what I could tell him that he rated me again, or Phantom as well, and you all. So also Kitty Kisses from Star Wars: The Republic. That here,
18 came this way holding a giant sickle.
they
Following
that
it,
one I skipped this
strange
guy.
beasts like a swarm of insects. They came like rolling death and then moved on. I wonder what
We are
terrible
going to
purpose
finish
they
this
had.
in a. It could well classify as a speed run. This shit, huh? I'm like doing one whole act per stream. All right, that should have updated it. The Telkin went east on the Silk Road. Yeah, you don't say. Track the Telkin with the sickle. Okay. I've already cleared everything. Silk Road, Silk Road. Don't worry, the monsters don't respawn. If they are there, it's because I haven't killed them. We follow the Silk Road. We follow the Silk Road. I don't want to skip the idiot Telkin that we have to kill people. We follow the Silk Road. We killed everything, as you can see. Clearly, someone's been. Oh, what's this? Aristotle's ornate wraps. What's that? Would you look at that, people? I skipped the legendary. We go through the Silk Road. We go through the Silk Road. We follow the Silk Road. Bactrian Woods. Where did it go? East on the Silk Road. I think I killed them all, people, huh? In that sense. We can teleport to the next zone. You currently have a portal? Yes. Yes. Eastern Silk Road. I can skip up to there, and that's where we were. We should be able to get there easily. In a sense. There. East of the Silk Road. I killed everything. Neanderthal dueling? No, I killed everything here. Damn it, what a mess I did. Here as well. We have to track the Telkin. So well, it's an absolute miracle that THQ made it revived from the ashes doing Darksiders 4 and now Sacred 2. That's something that I didn't expect. That's something that I didn't expect. And yeah, pretty much. As I was telling you, people, the key why I like them so much is because they are none of their games. It's like Nintendo. It's like Nintendo, people. Have you noticed that Nintendo doesn't have a bad game on its own? Like, yes, you can have highs and lows. For example, well, about the new Donkey Kong Bonanza, for example. It's the first 3D Donkey Kong since 64. It's only the second one. But they really don't have bad games in that sense. Like a constant common denominator that is not making bad games. Like you can make average games, but they have a kind of like a constant, THQ and Nintendo as well, on different scales. Of course, Nintendo is. I would place it at top one because of the insane trajectory, because of the insane background and career that they did, and generally is that they don't have a bad game. They can have an average game. By inside of that, but in that threshold, they don't do bad games. That's the thing. The lowest common denominator is still on average high. That's the thing. That is quite uncommon. What I would say. So yeah, pretty much. So yeah, in the case of THQ, it's the same story. I honestly wouldn't cite one of their games as terribly bad. Yes, there are highs and lows, but honestly, it's not. None of their games, I would say, it's a complete 100% flop of being absolutely bad. Being absolutely bad. I don't know if you could name anyone, people, but I wouldn't say one is completely bad. Then we need to. God damn it, that Telkin, where is it? It's, if this was all about killing, we would already finish the third act as well. We are doing this so fast, we'll get to the ending in the next stream, people. I can confirm it to you. We'll get to the ending in the next stream at the speed we are killing. Like I finished all of chapter, all of the second act. I'm doing one act per stream, and it only has 3 for the main story. Then I need to do the. I think it will ask me to do the. Wait, it had changed once you update it to the enhanced edition. Instead of being the Immortal Throne expansion in Hell with the Hades and everything, I think this one.
Hail, traveler! Before you lies the great wall that
I think it's the
shields
Ragnarok
our land from
expansion.
barbarian hordes. It has never been before. But
I think
yesterday,
it's the
before
Ragnarok
dawn,
expansion.
an army of beasts overrun us and passed into the mainland. We have seen these beasts before, but not in such number. It was truly a terrible sight. We still struggle to clear the wall.
I think I have to finish the Ragnarok expansion to unlock the legendary difficulty, yeah? I think I'll have to do the 3 acts plus that. Where's it? Taken went east on the Silk Road. Trackle the Telkin. What the fuck is this shit? I've already killed everything. What the fuck is this shit? I've already killed everything on the map. Yes. It has to be Eastern Silk Road. It's the last shit that I completed. Eastern Silk Road portal, yes. And
Yes, so long.
what about this one?
How do you see? Through the caves. Follow the blade. Beware.
Follow the blade through the caves. Beware the master. Alright, it's a riddle, but I understand that we have to go to the caves. See, in that sense, my brain understood as much as that. In that sense. Let's see, caves. No, I killed everything in the caves as well. Sickle, caves. I killed everything in here. I'm not that oblivious to the terrain. I'm not that oblivious to it, to the surroundings. What's the shit? Well, another thing that I got, people, another thing that I got from last year to now is a steering wheel. I got a Logitech G29 for racing games. I got a G29, a Logitech G29 steering wheel. The problem is that I have no room here at home. I told this before, people. You know that I've never lived in houses. I've always lived in apartments. In that thing, in that sense, in the same apartment, the apartment for my parents and grandparents. In that sense, so it's always apartment. I haven't ever lived in houses. Crown of the Great King. Whoa, what's that? That's a legendary. Oof. Look at that beast. Damn. That was a nice loot. Now I'm glad I returned here. Now I'm a bit glad that I'm returned here, in that sense. So yeah, that's the thing. I got a Logitech G29 for the racing games, but now I have no room where to place it. It works perfectly. It's amazing for the racing games. I don't know if anyone used steering wheels. I had never used. It's the first one that I have, and yep, I cannot use it because I have no room. That's the problem. That's a lesson for the future. If you get a steering wheel, be sure that you have room. I still have to finish Scud Race. I don't know if any of you know that forgotten racing game. Scud Race plus the arcade. I finished it on the 80 laps on stream. I did them, but I couldn't finish the last two maps. See, that's another thing. If I had more, if there was more interest on that, I would finish Scoot Race Plus Arcade, the 80 laps challenge, the endurance mode of a Scoot Race Plus. I have to finish that one. I would do so if as I said, but the amount of effort that it takes to even be decent at the game, as the same with Sacred One. It's a lot, and then maybe people don't even care about it, and then I spend like a whole day doing that one, and it doesn't track the interest that, for example, I don't know, uh, any of the games that I'm right now playing do. In that sense, would be. So yeah, pretty much. Look for the caves. The caves, player, the caves. I've already killed everything like a hurricane, destroying everything in its path. In that sense, I don't know where that Telkin could be. I've already cleared the whole area. It must be quite well hidden because maybe I just need to proceed with the. But then I will skip it like I skipped the other ones. Maybe I just need to proceed. I think I pretty much explored the whole map. Battle marker, could it be here? If I explore the whole map and it's not here, then it's just proceed with the one touch. Damage over time comes into effect. Bleeding, poison, lifesteal. There we go. Touch, slow. There, and with that, as you can see, I have this one a bit more mastered than Drakensang Online in that sense. There we go. No, then I just proceed through the Great Wall. I think. I don't see any cave where it could have gone to. Let's proceed with the wall. With the huge we are gonna make it to the Great Chinese Wall. Supposedly here. Mongolian plateau. Let me teleport there if I can. Straight up. I think it's pretty much covered. The Great Wall. Well, we're there. Let's see. Unless it's that cave, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think we just have to push through the Great Wall directly. Yeah. I think we just have to push through. Here, I made it here. I killed everyone in here, and this was pretty much. Let's go through the wall then. He said follow the caves, but I don't see anything else. I explored the whole terrain, basically.
Hail, traveler! Before you lie.
Yes, we already know. Let's go. The Chinese. Let's see here.
Our orders are to clear the wall, but these Peng aren't making it easy. A giant one has taken up by the guard tower over there. The men won't fight it. We'll just have to wait for it.
What's a Peng? I think it's like a tiger, people. If I remember correctly, this game. I know, it's those demons. Alright, we'll begin. This is like when Goku goes through the Serpent Road. Well, this will be the same, people, if I remember this part correctly. From 2010 when I played the game. Get ready, we are going through the Chinese Wall. There, the Great Chinese Wall. We are going. Oh, what the fuck? That's it. Look at that black empty hole there. That one didn't render appropriately. It has to have one flaw. Always, people. But yeah, basically, we're gonna make it through the Chinese Wall. Here we go. It's like the Serpent Road of Goku. I mean, the other day on Adult Swim, I watched for the first time the last one that. Well, that's another thing that happened. Pekarin, if you're still there, or you're watching it as a VOD, it's another thing that happened. We lost the creator of Dragon Ball. We lost Akira Toriyama as well. He passed away. He passed away as well. Another thing that happened. He passed away, like the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh before. He passed away sadly. But well, in that sense. I watched the other day on Adult Swim for the first time. I watched
Your
Dragon Ball
inventory
Daima.
is full.
Don't know if any of you watched it, people. Dragon Ball Daima. Well, uh, I would say it's better than Super so far. Yeah, I'm here, going to sleep with the stream nearby. Oh well, thank you, Picard. Sorry if I awoke you. That in that sense, thank you from the bottom of my heart. In that sense, um, some other people also do that. That just to basically support the 3 average viewers to finally get to the mark. So well, you and the rest, you are all angels. You're all angels. You're all angels. In that sense, in that
You
sense.
have no more room.
They told me some people that they also do that, that they like go to sleep and it's like a TV show and everything. Yeah. That's it. The other day I watched Dragon Ball Daima for the first time. Better than Super. I don't know if anyone here watched the Super or of course none of them is like Dragon Ball Z. Of course,
Your
we all agree on
inventory
that.
is full.
But basically, the idea is that the other day, Pekarin, a viewer from Australia that I also play Star Wars: The Republic offline with. He sent me a picture of his TV screen precisely with me on it, on from Australia with me on the screen like a TV show, and it also warmed my heart. Well, that at least the time I spend is like I should be always eternally grateful to you all because of the
Your inventory is full.
because at the end of the day it's like a TV show. It's like a TV show, and think of it like this: people, producers with millions of money, well, they can put up amazing shows. But for example, some other people have told me as well that, for example, they don't have the interaction and or they don't talk about video games with the depth that, for example, I talk about it. Or for example, the other day, Flying Energies and Patrick. Also, Patrick is from Hungary. Instead, he's in his gym competition. See, I remember you all. Patrick is in his gym competition. Uh, he must be watching the famous YouTube VODs because he was like every day he must be watching. He had to go to a gym competition. He told me, and and well. And well, he must be watching them as YouTube VODs, and precisely he's from Hungary, and he and he also told me that he liked about the stream that I was quite intellectual, and that he loved the way that I talked about several topics one after the other consecutively with a different opinion about all of them, and the same for Flying Energy from before that he raided me.
So, see John's patrol is making progress. Excellent. I am glad to hear our men are handling things.
Your inventory is full.
All right. Is this the main quest, people? Please tell me it's the main quest. No, it's a side quest. Shit. I just hope I didn't skip the Telkin, the main quest. I remember I had this problem 10 years ago. More, 15. That I had this problem 15 years ago. There's like a loop at this point in which the oh, I remember this group. I remember this fucking group. There's a loop here, like in which you get disconnected from the main quest. In that sense, um, as I was saying the other day, I was precisely as I was going to sleep. I was about to sleep, and it ruined my sleep precisely. That I watched Dragon Ball Daima for the first time. In case for those of you who don't know, Dragon Ball Daima was like the final. Is now officially the final work of art alongside the game Sunderland. But in terms of TV, no shit. They have a nasty stand there. In Dragon Ball Daima is officially mm, the last piece of content that Toriyama produced before passing away. Precisely, before passing away. So I think it's quite fortunate, at least, that it corrects a lot of the mistakes. I watched a chapter for the first time, so no, let me. I'm losing a lot of experience with this shit. I need to devise a new strategy. I need to be careful. I need to surround them and apply the damage over time to them, and then finish them off. I watched it for the first time. Okay. I generally, when I go to sleep, I generally watch on Adult Swim, Batman from the 90s, Batman of the Future, which was quite amazing. That's another hidden gem. Batman of the Future or Batman Beyond in the US. Batman from the Future is like, I think it was from the future. It had another name, Batman Beyond. Basically, in European territories, something like that. For the rest of us, it was like that. I generally watch either from the 90s, the classic one, or that one. I discovered that one, and well, the other day for the first time they showcase Dragon Ball Daima. Okay, and damn it, those mobs. I think it corrects all of the problems. Only one chapter I watched. Granted, I should have watched a bit more. In that sense, it was one chapter. I think it corrects the problems of Super being way too childish. Ironically, because in Dragon Ball Daima, Goku turns into a child, but it's a bit more fleshed out than Super, if I had to say. Super was like, I don't know if it happened to you people, it was way too shallow in the content, the story. Then, of course, by the end of it, they fixed it. But for example, the future arc with Trunks again repeating the same shit of those. Oh, we are getting mortars now, like like what my Italian grandpa had to suffer in World War II. Shit, it's a one-hit kill. Have you noticed that that stupid mob is more dangerous than the final boss of the zone of the Telkin? That I could do it in my second try. The shit is worse with the stance. In that sense, it's the only way I can get killed here. But well, yeah, I wanted to highlight that it's a bit more fleshed out than Super. In that sense, I would say it's a bit more fleshed out so far. The tragedy that was repeating the Fraser arc, repeating the you cannot. I don't think you can do it worse. That one is it at least. Okay. I don't know which one out of them is doing the. Maybe it's the boss. But yeah. In that sense, I would suggest it more than Super. Super was like just watch the final season. The first one and the final season. Everything in between I would skip it. The Freezer arc, the time travel arc, I would from Super what is worth it is the first one, the beginning and the end. First arc, final arc. I would say. I don't know if anyone, maybe now I pissed off fans of Dragon Ball Super and now they also hate me as well. But no, the idea is that... No, it wasn't this one, the one that was dealing the mortar damage, huh? It wasn't the boss, they were the mobs. Look at that, look at that, look at that. They were the mobs, in that sense. So yeah, now I see that fans of Dragon Ball Super hate me. No, people, but no. In that sense, I would suggest that. I would suggest Daima a bit more than Super. Super, just watch the beginning and the end. In that sense, you have to watch it because it's like it's Dragon Ball. It's famous all over the world. All over the world. Have you noticed? I have noticed this that regardless of culture, everyone knows about Dragon Ball Z. Regardless of culture, as in the Americas, in European territories, in Middle East, in South America here as well, like all over the world. In that sense, it might be, well, in that sense, it might be as popular as it's not as popular as Pokemon, because Pokemon also grabs the the younger audiences in that sense. It grabs the younger audiences as well. But that one now does, because Daima is kind of like a rehash of the original Dragon Ball, so kids can relate to.
We saw this Telke you speak of.
Ah,
It carried a great sickle.
aha.
Its cursed beast thronged around it. We watched it come from the Great War and disappear into the Jingyong Woods in the direction of Chong'an.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I was right. Look at that. Yeah, it's just that it's so long. I remember this happened to me 15 years ago, and it happened to me on stream once again in front of everyone. Yes, I lost. You lose track of where you should be going in terms of the where you should be going in terms of the in terms of that quest. I might be able to finish this final chapter today, and next Thursday we can straight up. Oh, look at that, 30 million already. Well, at least going back and forth gave me a lot of money. We were at 25. I remember 25 million. I bet by the next stream we'll be able to get to the ending of the base game here. I will get to the Ragnarok expansion, and because of that, I'll be able to unlock legendary difficulty soon enough. I'll be able to unlock legendary difficulty, and with that, the Embers expansion. Remember, people, you have to finish this game twice, normal difficulty and this one, epic difficulty, to access legendary difficulty. And once you are in legendary difficulty, yes, you can access the Embers expansion, which is the final expansion that they released. I did them all offline. The Ragnarok expansion with the Northernlands. I did the Immortal Throne, of course, that was released back in the day. Of course, after the base game, which is this. We are like playing the base game for now. We're doing like a flash run of the base game to unlock the next difficulty. But then they released the Atlantis expansion, more only. And the good thing is that your save file from the legacy version, the base version of it, is compatible. My save file, my original save file, updated smoothly to the enhanced edition. That's the good thing about it. That's the good thing. It carried. This character is from 2010. People, is 15 years old in that sense. I did the original base game, and then I didn't do Immortal Throne. Then some years later, I did Immortal Throne, and I completed everything. And pretty much, I did the Ragnarok expansion, the new content that they added. And yes, and I realized 2-3 years ago, as I was finishing the expansions, I cannot access the Embers expansion. They say that they updated it with the Embers expansion. What's going on? I cannot play Grimdawn. Grimdawn is made by Crate Entertainment, the successors of this game. Technically, Grimdawn 2, Grimdawn is a TitanQuest 2, technically, at the end of the day, people. But yeah, pretty much, in that sense. Grimdawn, as I said, there will be a discussion now which one is the real TitanQuest 2. If Grimdawn, made by the original developers, or TitanQuest 2 that just released the early access, in that sense. So, pretty much, the idea is that I want to access the Embers expansion. I want to finish this one 100%. I did all of the side quests in my normal run of the game. Every single side quest, like I did with Sacred 2. Precisely. And now I'm doing a flash run of the second difficulty. Like I'm just finishing the base game, like this, where I'm doing one act per stream, which is brutal. And at the end of the day, Well, today I did 2 acts, in fact. We are getting to the ending of... Well, not 2, because this one is not finished. Let's say we did the Egyptian act. But I'm getting there. Maybe I can finish it today. Maybe I can push it a bit more and finish it today. In that sense. So... that way I can get to the ending next time. I can do that. In that sense. So... that will unlock the Embers expansion. I don't know if anyone would be interested in watching the Embers expansion on Legendary difficulty. That is quite rare to see, because you have to finish the game twice. But yeah, otherwise I will just play it offline. But yeah, pretty much. Because at the end of the day, Jade figurine, what's this? That's probably a quest item. Because at the end of the day, it's not that common to finally get to the Embers expansion. I remember when I finished it on normal difficulty. The updated version, when I finished the expansions, not the base game. The base game I finished it back in 2010. But when I finished the Immortal Throne expansion, yeah, I know I should have played that one back in the day. No, I just played the base game. I played the Immortal Throne expansion some years ago, then the Ragnarok, the Atlantis one, everything I thought. And the Embers expansion, everyone says here that the end game starts with the Embers expansion. And then I read, no, player, no. You have to beat the game twice to access it. And I said, bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Fuck it. I remember thinking, that is terrible. That I have to finish the game twice to access it. It's absolutely terrible. But yeah, it is the case like that. It is the case like that. So well, I will... I'm about to access it. I have to finish this and the... well, then I have the Ragnarok expansion too. Then I have to finish the... You know that they moved... They should have done that. You know that in order to get access to the final difficulty, well, at least if I get killed, I have the fountain there, and it was because of a boss monster there. Ah, stupid stance. I need to add resistance against a stance, huh? I realized, huh? I think I looted a piece of gear some minutes before that actually provides it, huh? It would be the very last component of the shit. There we go. The very last component of the build, because my damage is already pretty amazing. I'm using outdated gear. You can see that they are level 50. Well, this one is 54, but this one is 59. And I think the gear is pretty well. You know that as I've said, well, I said this last time, and at the beginning of the stream. You know that this is my original build from 2010. In that sense, people, I designed it myself. It concentrates all the damage in the basic attacks, as you can see here. You can see that I'm not using abilities. As you can see here, it concentrates all the damage on basic abilities, on basic attacks. The basic attacks basically deal poison, blood, damage. They also steal life. They do life stealing. Oh, this is quite good. They do life stealing. They do slow. They slow enemies down. Good. I looted the legendary there. And they also drain mana. All my basic attacks only. That's why you see that I'm not using abilities. They deal poison. They do bleeding. They do pretty much everything. So that way I don't use abilities. I don't need to use abilities. And because of that, it's directly affected by my attack speed. I also have enhanced attack speed. You can see that yellow ring around me. as it grows with each attack, it stacks and it deals increased attack speed. So that's the source of the damage. Oh, looks like we made it. Chang'an outskirts. Well, we are definitely in China, people. Huh? We are definitely in China. Well, fictional China, in that sense. I've heard that they already have like cars that drive themselves over there and in the US. They already have cars that drive themselves. That they are testing them. Of course, companies never account for the amount of people that then sadly get injured testing those new things that then we all enjoy. That's the sad part of it. But yeah, I heard that they already have cars that don't have a driver in them. In that sense, would you get into a car that doesn't have a human driver in it, people? Would you? In that sense, would you? I don't know, huh? I would be scared to shit. I would be scared to shit. In that sense, I would be scared to shit. Same go. Well, let's not even talk about a plane with an artificial intelligence or something driver, not non-human driver, pilot in that sense.
One like you. She waits in the center of the city, this city, Chang'an. But have you heard the news? Chaos runs wild in the streets. The great emperor's terracotta soldiers have come to life. They have left the mausoleum and are terrorizing the city.
Hell, the voice acting that they did back in 2006, because this is the original portion of the game. All of this is from 2006. You know, these portions that I'm playing. See how good, such amazing voice acting they are doing. There I can establish a comparison with Drakensang Online. I find it weird that in Drakensang Online is the other game that I'm playing for those of you who rediscovered the stream precisely. It's the other game that I'm playing, Drakensang Online, and it's not voice acted at all. Like a single line is not voice acted. That's absolutely terrible. That's absolutely terrible, people. That's absolutely terrible in that sense. Absolutely terrible. Because it has a story going on. But the problem is that it's not... Wasn't my inventory full? A miracle happened. I must be looting quite small things. That's the thing. I would make all of these games have unlimited inventory. Because, like, let's be honest, people.
We are working hard to take back Chang'an, but we have more problems with just the monsters.
Amazing 3D sound, by the way. Look at... You can see here that... You can listen here that it only happened in the...
Your inventory is full.
In the left ear pad of the headset. I could see it perfectly. I could hear it perfectly. The thrown daggers are quite good, but that one,
You can't carry it.
Moonblade of Sulphur, and it's a legendary. Ah, but the other one is also legendary. Shit. I looted so much that I have all legendaries with me. You don't happen to have a vendor here? I think I see a vendor. Yes, I made it to the vendor. I made it to town right in the nick of time. Right in the nick of time. Look at that. I made it to the... Damn it, I'm going to finish it today, yeah, people. We're close. I remember the game. It's just then... This is the final zone. Then from here it jumps to Olympus, and you go up against the Titan, if I remember correctly. It's been 15 years, but I think I remember the Titan, and that's pretty much it, huh? That's pretty much it. Monstrous Titan Blade of Chaos. Pierce rate. Ah, no, but it's fast. Fast speed. No, we are using very fast. If it's not very fast, then that's useless. Fast. No, not good enough. Give me the potions. I think I'm gonna make it, huh? Don't... I would say make your bets, but... next stream for sure. I am right there. Like, this is the end. Poison resistance, strength, and dexterity. Out of here. This one? Crown of the Great King from Egypt, from our journey at the beginning of the stream, pretty much. Damn it, people, I did the whole section of Egypt in 2 hours on epic difficulty. Like, I might be doing a crazy speedrun and not even boasting about it at all. Where's my... do you have my stash? Yeah, finally. Look at my stash, people. Look at this shit. See how organized I've been. Look at that. My relic stash. Look at that. See how organized I've been in the previous 10 years. Look at that. Look at that. How organized I've been. I have my relics classified by type and moment in which I got them. Look at this, the Atlantean artifice. For example, this one is from the Atlantis expansion that I played so many years ago. Look at that. This is like a door to the past, people. All of those items that you see there were looted. Well, in the case of the expansion, the later ones, some 5, a bit more, 7 years ago. I used to play this when I was in law school. People, when I had time. You remember what I told you, that here where I live, law school, a university, you don't go. You don't live at the university. I debated this with Ambra the other day, that in Poland it was pretty much the same. Like, you could go to one in which you could live there, but it was more expensive, so it was more common to precisely do the university at home. Here, in the case of Argentina, you know that we are basically, as I said, always Italians who speak Spanish because of the colonization process and period, and basically I cannot think of a single university in which you actually live there. Like staying all the time. Yeah, like you come back home, and I studied pretty much here. What you see here in my room, pretty much. It was like that. It was like that. So yeah, pretty much. I don't know how common it is in your own countries, and I had to ask uh, each of you. For example, I have to. For example, I don't know how it must be in Czechia. That Jacob is from Czechia, or or Phantom, that is from Greece. So yeah, pretty much. I have to. I have to then. Ambra told me. I bet it must be exactly like Europe, because here we copied everything from Europe instead of, for example, in the US. You know that it's the opposite. They try to kind of like. Well, Marcus could tell me, or Scarlet Dragoon. We also have viewers from the US. In that sense, because yeah, pretty much, it's more common to have universities in which you live there. Internships. I don't know how to pretty much say that you live there. Here it's not common at all. I suspect following the European tradition. Well, but in our case, it could be more specific than European. It could be specifically Italian. That you know that we are the group that favors family life the most in the world. People for us, it's not uncommon. It's not uncommon for, well, nowadays it's not uncommon in the rest of the world, but due to economic hardships, because of the current job market crisis, But for us, in that sense, it wasn't that uncommon at all. It's not that uncommon at all that people at the age of 18 don't leave their houses like at all. It was the usual thing to happen. Like, and it wasn't because of money, precisely. And I know that what most um, people from, I don't know, northern European countries will tell me, well, but that's bad because then you don't get independence and all of those things. But well, it's not about that. It's about, for example, people that well, I think I told this on stream one or two times, but not that much. It doesn't have to do with that. In our case, in the case of Italians and Spaniards, we are so family oriented because it was tradition in the old Roman Empire to take care of parents, in that sense, that we inherit a lot of things from the great Roman Empire, and since we are Italians, we are like directly, that I have double citizenship, that I am both Argentine and Italian at the same time, both in that sense. Since we directly still inherit that, the tradition is like more, it's it's at its strongest point because it's a direct.
This door is locked.
Sorry, this gate's closed. There are too many monsters on the other side.
It's directly kind of like kept, like in the sense that other European countries, for example, since it's not directly 100%, maybe they kept one or two traditions, and then they were influenced by the Germanic tribes as well. In case you're interested, my legal residence, as I've said, I don't live there, of course. I live in Argentina, in the capital of Argentina. But my legal residence, I've told it to others, is in right. You know the cone right below Switzerland. That cone that it has like a cone, like a horn to the south. Well, it's right in Italy, right below that horn. Is the second town. The first town is the frontier, quite small we're talking about, and the second one is mine. Is where my legal residence is, where I vote there, right below the horn that Switzerland has to the south west. There's my legal European residence technically, because that's where my great grandpa had to run away precisely when World War II broke out. It's not that he had to run away; there was no future. Basically, everything was like shit. So yeah, pretty much. So everything was like shit. Besides, that's where the dictator tried to escape through the northwestern section. So it was a mess until they hanged him and they killed the dictator and everything, pretty much. Mussolini, basically. That zone was an absolute mess. If I looking back, my ancestors precisely should have entered Switzerland because it's 120 no 136 kilometers away from the frontier. It's Meda, basically. 136 kilometers from the frontier, basically. Not that much, right, people? I think it was like that. 136, I remember reading when I did those. So yeah, basically, since we're the most family oriented in the world, alongside Spaniards, and Argentine is Spaniard plus Italian. You can imagine that. It's here I remember when I watched American movies, for example, in which everyone at the age of 18 says, well, 18, I'm never again coming back home until I'm a full-grown adult and everything. Yeah, that's not the case. That's not the case in Italy. That would be seen as quite weird. Without that, would be seen as quite weird. Without a doubt, in that sense. Well, now because of the economic crisis, ironically, most people are living it the Italian way. for shitty reasons. Sadly, I'm sad that it's not because of
Once I was a powerful general, caught up in the
their own
adventure
will.
of life. Then I was disgraced by my failure to stop the monsters.
So yeah, pretty much that's the thing. So yeah, pretty much. That's the difference. I just wish that it would be a bit better because of people willing to appreciate. For example, as I was telling you, people, when the pandemic broke out, my, my my parents had to go to the hospital. Indeed, even if I spoke against going out to on the street, going out, but well, someone had to do the things, and well, they got the virus and everything, and I had to remain alone at home with my grandma, for example. Imagine what would have happened, and I literally like uh, saved her life, because if I hadn't been here, it's not that I did some miraculous medical treating, but if I hadn't been here that whole week, it was 1 week, one entire week. If I hadn't been here, she would have probably died. That's the case. And in an Italian family, for example, that I don't know how it is in your own cultural societies and everything, and I understand pretty much that in the case of a lot of people, they had to continue working. It was also the case with me. I also had to continue working. But if I hadn't done that, well, it would have been like not in the sense of a Roman dishonor or whatever, but in my own consciousness, because of how Italian culture is, I would have felt bad, for example. Then my grandma passed away 1 year later, in that sense, after the pandemic. In that sense. But let's say fulfilled my duty, in that sense. Like I also, duty or not, I would have taken care of my grandma 100%. 100%. And for example, that you don't see it in a lot of movies, in a lot of American movies, for example. That I see that there are some, what do they call them? The residencies for old people, that they just send them there, and there they take care of them. Here, those are seen. There are here, but on average, they are seen as a, well, a family that didn't take care of the of the person. It still has a negative stigma. In the US, I feel that it doesn't have an average negative stigma. That's the thing. But there you can see one of the huge differences. For example, there you can see one of the huge differences. For example, that it has a huge stigma. For example, there are people. Cultural differences. I'm not saying that the Italian Roman way is the best, but what I can tell you is that yes, I do feel perfect with my consciousness with it instead. In that sense, I feel much better in that sense, that I took care of my grandma until the end. In that last week, and then of course my parents, then I was exhausted, I could barely sleep because she had Alzheimer. She would forget things, and pretty much then my parents took care of her as they had done previously all the time. It wasn't me, it was just 1 week for me, but it was the week of the pandemic. I had like the worst possible scenario in that sense. The week. It was probably the worst week of my life. But well, I wouldn't have done it otherwise. So there you have it, people. I don't know if the Italian way is the perfect way, because a lot of people will say, no, at the age of 18, you have to leave home and find a life. Something. It's more or less that the idea. Yeah, I don't know if it's good or bad, but I don't know if which one is the best way. But I would say that yeah, until parents and grandparents pass away, I would say that yeah, in that sense, I wouldn't be able to live with my consciousness if I hadn't helped my grandma, for example, back then. And well, I still miss her and my grandpa as well. In that sense, I was fortunate enough to see them both reach, in the case of my grandma, 92, and in the case of my grandpa, 87, 88, close still to 90. So, close to 90, so yeah. In that sense. I also envy the lives they had in a way, because it was quite different to what we have nowadays. In that sense, I am quite nostalgic about that. I'm quite nostalgic. What's this? A Dragon Leash? Lord of the Undead? What? I'm quite nostalgic. I feel they all of our predecessors had, well, that's the essence of being conservative, but I feel they all had kind of like amazing, amazing cultural, amazing cultural characteristics. So amazing cultural periods of time to live with. In that sense, I feel like that, honestly. Compared to we are living with the TikTok and the modern social media, I don't know if anyone likes them. Yes, of course, it has its own its benefits, but still, well, but still, I wouldn't swap. For example, have you noticed that, I don't know, public employees and everything was like a bit more professional in the 90s and the early 2000s? I feel that the degree of professionalism that they have had. Okay, people. Okay, people. Sadly, I have to go. But it was my utmost pleasure sharing the second day of leisure gameplay of Titan Quest. On Tuesday, we'll continue with Drakensang Online. Sorry, District, always that I know that you love when I play Drakensang Online instead. That I know that you when I do the metaphysical analysis in leisure gameplay, I don't do the analysis. Bye bye, good night, Pekar, and well, you stayed up until the end. You are an angel. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Hope the streams are enjoyable. Hope the streams are enjoyable. I do the analysis on Tuesdays, and once I finish this one, as well on Thursdays with the next thing. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And yes, people, indeed, thanks to Fly Energies for the raid with 17 people. I will return the favor to you, Fly Energies, if you are still watching. To Phantom, that also dropped by the stream, I'll return you the favor. The thing is that you're generally you are done with your stream once I begin mine because of the time zone of the Americas. But yeah, people, I can proudly say that we are only 6 streams away, because this is the second one. 6 streams away with an average of 3 viewers to finally get the channel affiliate status with the badges and everything. So thanks from the bottom of my heart. You all warm my heart. Hope the streams are enjoyable. Everyone watching this as a YouTube bot or a Twitch bot, thanks as well from the bottom of my heart. Thanks to District that also dropped by the stream, to Ambra, to Patrick, to all of the ones that, to Crowbar, to everyone that watches the stream in the future. Thank you, people. It's been a pleasure. Special thanks, Pekaren. And now, then I will get to check the Secret 2 link. I will get to check the Secret 2 link. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. People, especially thanks to you, Pekaren, today, and it was amazing seeing you again. Hope you are doing amazingly well IRL. Hope you are doing amazingly well IRL. The best wishes. It happened to me with another viewer from Armenia that I met him again 3 years after, and I also wish him the best in your IRL projects. Bye bye, people. It's been my pleasure. See you all on Tuesday when we continue the final analysis, the analysis, the metaphysical analysis of Drakensang Online. Bye bye, people. Have a great weekend. Have a great weekend. Bye bye.